Musicians Institute Guitarcraft Program, sponsor of Fox 17 Rock and Review.
Fox 17 Rock and Review, hanging out with my buddy Andy Powers, master luthier. You know, Andy developed so many of the great innovations that are coming out with the new Taylors, from the GS Mini bass even to the 12-string. And thanks for joining me, buddy.
Hey, man, it's my pleasure to be here.
Nice to have you in Nashville.
Yeah, it's good to come and sweat it out.
Well, you know, we were talking earlier about, you guys released this new GS Mini bass in January, actually. Mm-hmm. And what an incredible instrument. It's kind of taken on a life of its own.
Yeah, it really is. It's so rewarding as a guitar maker to watch a musical landscape start shifting and changing when something new enters that water.
Yeah.
You know? This thing, originally, I had thought of it as the guitar player's bass.
Right.
You know, your friends are around, you're playing guitars, somebody needs to play bass.
Always.
But a bass is usually not comfortable to just hop onto.
I think you got to think differently about a bass than you do a guitar.
Absolutely. It's a different approach. It's a different musical role. But in this way, it can make bass a very approachable instrument.
Right.
You know, what's so fun now is to watch serious, good bass players pick this thing up and realize, oh, this is an entirely fresh voice. This is something I can use. The intonation's good. The projection is good. It's got a different sonority that actually fits on a track.
Well, you know, and we were talking earlier on the news piece too, Andy, to where with the new strings that you guys came up that have the poly inside, it plays very easy. It's not like it's fighting me.
No, it's a real approachable, finger-friendly kind of instrument.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been watching our kids and other kids pick this thing up as a potential first instrument.
Wow.
Because, you know, if you're just a beginning musician,
right,
you pick something up and you go, man, it's really hard to get all the chords formed and stuff.
Totally.
Heck, on a bass, for better or worse, you can pick it up, play single strings, and go, man, you're in the band.
I've got something.
You're good.
Yeah.
You get to start, participating.
Well, I think it's an incredible instrument, and as mentioned earlier when we were off camera, you know, I've owned the GS Mini guitar since you came out with it, and it's such a great songwriter instrument because you can throw it in the car, you can go do a songwriting session, you can go play, one of the songwriting deals here, Bluebird or wherever, and it's like you're not dragging out your 900 series Taylor.
Yeah, exactly. They're real good utility instruments in that regard. And this bass is perfect because, you're going to throw an upright into your car and take it to a songwriter round? No.
Well, and it was so funny, too, because my buddy Brian Allen that plays with Robin Ford, he plays uprights, and he'll take them on tour.
Yeah,
but then he took this one out. He took out the GS Mini. I was like, okay,
that's amazing. I love that.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to bring up also the new 12-string that you guys came out with.
Yeah, this is a 12-string it's kind of based on the chassis of the 562 guitar that I developed a couple of years ago. Because for a lot of musicians, a lot of guitar players, a 12-string is not a primary instrument.
Right.
It's a third guitar, a fourth guitar. It's something you use for a few songs in your set.
Yeah.
Or layering parts on a recording.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this little 12-string is real innovative in using a small body design because that just inherently is an efficient design for a 12-string.
Well, you brought up to me also from a builder perspective, like your mind works to where it lays out better. Because with the big bodies, it's just harder to do a 12-string.
Yeah, that's working uphill in a lot of ways because, there's a lot of string tension on a 12-string guitar, so you have to brace it kind of heavy. You have to make sure the structure you got to make sure it's strong enough to hold together and play well. But the individual strings are rather small. Musically, what we're looking for is that chimey sound, the harp-like quality that you get out of a 12-string. And to accentuate that, a small body is a better choice.
Well, and to my ear, too, on it, Andy, it's a better balance.
Yeah.
You're not getting the boomy, muddy basses that you frequently do from a jumbo body 12-string, and that E and A are just over resonating.
Just gone, yeah.
Yeah, and it's going, I'm really kind of losing my pretty upper strings, And that's what you're playing it for.
Yeah, a lot of times when as a player, I'd go into a studio and I'd use a 12-string to layer a part, and you EQ out everything out of the low end. It's just gone. Because all you want is the shimmery quality.
Yeah.
Man, that's where this guitar really excels.
Oh, yeah.
So built as
incredible.
a 362, this is an instrument that's not terribly expensive. but has great intonation, real strong projection, really good balance.
Well, you know,
for a
and
12
similar too, before we came down to the studio, Andy, we were talking about your Academy series, which, you know, you guys launched
Absolutely.
as a way for students and beginning people, maybe people on a budget that want a quality instrument that plays great, sounds great, but
Absolutely.
doesn't cost a ton of money.
Yeah, those guitars, they're taking on a real life of their own because seasoned musicians are gravitating toward them as again, a functional utility
Well, we were talking about
instrument.
Daniel Donato.
Oh my gosh, he's an amazing player.
Playing the nylon string, and it's like going, okay, well, Daniel can play whatever he wants.
Yeah,
you know?
he's got the chops. He's got that Jerry Reed thing. It sounds great. And you listen to this instrument and go, man, that's legit. That's a real thing. But at the same time, it's the perfect first instrument for someone just starting to welcome the music making activity as part of their lifestyle.
And I think that was brilliant. Well, and I also want to take a look at now for our collectors and purveyors of high-end tailors. Let's take a look at this one right here with the new 900 series, and look at that on camera.
Yeah, this is a 916 cutaway model. Now, I redesigned the 900 series a few years back.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
Really pushed the boundary with a lot of like kind of tone-enhancing refinements. Where it's got real particular wood thicknesses, bracing pattern, ultra thin finish.
Well, you know, I wanted to bring up also that you've achieved the sunburst finish with the ultra thin, which is not an easy thing to do.
No, not an easy thing to do. Try working on it for several years and having to say no the whole time. No, we can't do that.
Right.
We can't do it.
You know, and I think one of my favorite parts of it too, Andy, is the arm bevel that you put down there, because as so many of us know, after you played for enough hours, it starts to eat into your forearm.
Yeah, well, it's real interesting when you think about what we get to hear as listeners and musicians. It's never just the guitar, and it's never just the musician's hands. It's the relationship between the two.
Totally.
Okay? So if you make that a more comfortable, healthier relationship, you end up hearing better music.
Well, I think the musician is more comfortable, you know, doing it, and I think that's what you've done with it, and just a work of art. You know, I was going to bring up also, you know, the website, which is, you know,
TaylorGuitars.com. Yeah, you can go there for more information and particulars. And
well, you know, and to me, it's so much fun going on the site because you know, building a custom guitar, I went on there and I was looking through everything and checking out all the pictures, and you can go in there and custom order your own guitar for not really the, you know, the high end prices.
Yeah, it's, you know, the way that we build custom guitars is sometimes musicians have particular needs.
Right.
So what we can do is alter designs within reason to go, hey, let's build a dream guitar that's a marriage of this and maybe an unusual wood pairing or things like that, where you can really, pardon the pun, but tailor something to a player's needs.
To yourself, you know. Well, and I also wanted to bring up real quick while I've got you, Andy, about, you know, and you talked to me a month or so ago about the sustainability things you guys are working on.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, for generations, guitar makers have existed in the way of being a forager. You know, you go out into the woods, you find what you need, you take it home, and you're good. Well, at this point in history, that's not enough. We have to transition from being foragers to being farmers.
Right.
You know, we have to plant what we're going to eat to make it through the next winter. So that's what we're embarking on these days, is we have these different forestry initiatives throughout the world where we're actually not just contributing, but participating, we're working on planting future generations of guitar wood.
Well, and I think it's amazing, too, with Taylor, what you've done, Andy, from you and I talking years ago, to where you guys started using some of the different rosewood that was maybe not, you know, just solid dark. You know, you started experimenting with that on the fretboards and the headstocks, where a lot of builders weren't.
Yeah, it really was coming out of one of our first forestry projects in Cameroon using ebony.
Right.
You know, when Bob Taylor had gone there first to start doing some investigation, he realized, man, these guys are cutting down 10 trees, but only getting to keep one.
Wow.
Only the one that was pure black, because that's what guitar players want and that's what they'll pay for. Well, all of the wood is good, and just by making that one simple choice, that means the forest is capable of producing 10 times the amount of wood that it has.
Right.
Well, that means that forest could last 10 times as long.
Right. And I think it adds more artistic look to the instrument as well.
Yeah.
It certainly doesn't hurt the tone.
No, it's wonderful functioning, beautiful material. It really is just a tradition, and we, as musicians, we tend to be somewhat traditional.
Very.
So
well, it's so
just
nice
a
that you
simple
guys
choice can change everything.
are pushing the envelope.
Thank you.
Well,
It's,
you know, I love the new
important work to
instruments.
do.
You know, it's always so great to have you on the show.
Oh, thanks.
So be sure and check out these Taylors, whether it's the GS Mini, the 12-string, or obviously the beautiful 900 series. And once again, the website is always a blast. I personally recommend you play them. You know, if you get a chance at your
what they're
local
for.
music store, grab a hold of one, because if you do, you may not put it down. So Andy Powers from Taylor Guitars, thanks for watching the Fox 17 Rockin' Review.
Musicians Institute Guitarcraft program, sponsor of Fox 17 Rock and Review.